You can access the entire episode now on our website, forbiddenknowledge.news, Rokfin, Rumble, and all podcast platforms. Let's get into the tuning that you use and the kind of music that you're producing. Tell us a little bit about the process.
We use what we call phi balance technology, and at the core of that is really kind of a set of philosophical principles is really what's at the bottom of it, which is something really interesting that a lot of people don't really consider music a very philosophical format. It's entertainment for most people. And what we kind of learned or discovered is that there's a lot of tie-ins, or that there's a lot of mirrors in music and life itself. And life is made up of patterns, and people's lives are patternistic, and people's thoughts are patternistic, and music is also patternistic. And so we've kind of figured out a way to use these patterns. People are familiar with things like archetypes, and patterns and archetypes are basically the same thing. And so what we're doing is we're using geometry and tuning to mirror these patterns and help people attach or resonate with these patterns.
Right on. You're right. There, most of the modern music we hear is just so mechanical. It's so reproduced. There's no substance to it. And whenever I listen to music, I prefer to hear something with not only more substance and technicality, but something that really elicits an emotion. And you don't get that from the pop industry and most of the mainstream music. And most people, you're right, are just looking to be entertained by it and not even realizing what it's like to feel music on a deeper level, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people get a taste of it in things like, going to music festivals where the music's really loud. It obviously has more energy to it, so it's going to be more impactful because of the amount of energy that's being pushed onto you. But I think people have these experiences in places like that, and they don't really know what that is. They think, oh, wow, I had the greatest time at Coachella. But it wasn't really Coachella, it was the musical experience. And so we know that music is a powerful conduit for these kinds of feelings and emotions. And what we want to do is really leverage that to affect people in a positive way.
Anything to add to that, Ford?
Yeah, I think people underestimate how music affects our emotions, affects our health, affects our bodies. As Tesla said, everything is frequency, energy, and vibration. And when you know the key to that, you can really, really change things in not only your personal world, but in the world outside. And that secret is the ether, and understanding that all permeating field that's out there that's connecting us all is the ether. And when you understand that the way that it moves and the way that it works is very musical in nature, we're tapping into that. That's exactly what we're tapping into. And there are people using this technology now to tap into deeper ideas, ways of healing cancer and free energy and making flying cars and things like that. And there's very credible people working on this, but I think we're taking these ideas and applying them in a more general sense to music. And what's amazing is the experiences that people are having from this is quite incredible. Quite incredible.
Well, tell us a little bit about some of the experiences that people can expect from this, and how are you integrating this tuning in there? Is this 432 hertz that you're integrating in there?
Yeah, 432 is one of many frequencies that we're using, and that's part of the phi balance thing. Is we discovered that there are kind of like nodal points for specific frequencies. And what I mean by that is like there are frequencies that really hold certain energies really well. And so we use 432, and we use a host of other ones like solfeggio tones, if your viewers might be or may not be familiar with that phrase. But there's a set of frequencies that some monks came up with about over 1,000 years ago. And it had to do with geometry and math and number sequences and number patterns and philosophical math and all that stuff. And so those frequencies, they were banned for a great many years, like the last 1,000 years. They were pretty much hidden until, the advent of the internet and information, and we've been able to figure these things out. And previously, musical instruments were tuned so that these frequencies weren't easily accessible, that the musical notes didn't fall on these frequencies because they had such power, and the church wanted to maintain that power, and so they kind of banned those frequencies. And we use a lot of those too because they do actually work. You know, conspiracies aside, we found that, wow, there's actually something to these things, you know?
Right on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. To add to that, it's just that for the doubters out there, you know, these numbers are not arbitrary. I mean, a lot of times I hear the argument of, oh, how they know it was 528, 1,000 years, because it's not about the number itself. It's about patterns and scaling. And when you can understand that, it's like these patterns are present no matter where you set. It just so happens these are where we set the frequency notes, you know. And what's interesting is that the numbers that we've chosen have these incredible mathematical constants where it just shows over and over and over again, like the pyramid has got all kinds of 432 in it. You know, this was for one example. So there's very significance to this pattern that I think that we're tapping into. And the other thing to just understand too is that the way that it's not a spooky effect of how the music affects you. It's affecting you through a process of sympathetic resonance. So we've all had that experience of pulling up in our car to a traffic light, and you bump some bass music, or maybe the car next to you is bumping some bass music, and then your mirror is vibrating, right? That's sympathetic resonance. That's the frequencies from that music are hitting such a point that it's matching the frequency of the mirror, and it's causing the mirror to vibrate. Well, the same principle applies to your body. You're made of 86% water. There's a lot of vibration going on here. And when you introduce a vibration, has a stronger field to it, you're automatically going to fall in line to that resonance. It's going to pull your whole body into that resonance. And these resonant frequencies have some very magical properties to them. And when you do these, it's undeniable. Like, this is not a thing where like, oh, just believe me. No, go try it and tell me you didn't have a crazy experience.
Or just go read the comments section.
Or go read the comments section if you only want to try it. Read the comments. There's 10,000 comments of people going, holy crap, what happened to me? Did you spike my music? I'm like, yeah. We spiked it with 5 balance.
I've had some pretty incredible spiritual and emotional experiences that were based off of just music that I've listened to, even music that I've created myself. What are some of the things that people can expect from, especially some of your own produced music?
So we kind of have two camps of music. We make like commercial music, like regular music that you would hear like on the radio, that we do infuse with this technology so that you can get a little blast or a pick-me-up of these vibrations. But we also do much longer format stuff meant for sleep and meditation or study, anti-anxiety, PTSD, that kind of thing. So depending on what our users or what people are listening to, the effects vary. So if you're listening to a sleep track, I mean, it's designed to get you to sleep as quickly as possible. And they're very effective at that too. And the same with the anti-anxiety and PTSD ones. So, obviously people that are listening to that can expect to relax and feel more comfortable and safe and that kind of thing. But I think some of the cooler things that probably a lot of people want to hear about is things like lucid dreaming, enhanced dream states and stuff. We have some programs for that kind of thing, and they can definitely expect, if they're engaging with it, to have those experiences. Yeah,
I mean, our lucid dreaming one, the Third Eye program, the Third Eye Sleep program, I think it has almost 9 million views in the first year. So I mean, that's how powerful it is. Incredible. People are like, wow.
Now, I've also experienced what I would call healing effects from music from many different aspects. Is this something that people have experienced as well?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
All kinds of things. Now, I mean, we're not going to say that this is a alternative to seeing or a substitute for seeing a doctor or anything like that. Absolutely, get medical counsel from a licensed doctor. But it does help with the symptoms of a lot of things. Like, we have pain relief ones, and it helps with the symptoms of pain. It helps relieve pain. And like I said, with PTSD and anxiety, definitely helps relieve the symptoms of those things for sure.
And there's been countless studies, like real Harvard and medical journal studies, and we have them posted on our channel. There's literally hundreds of them, of these credible studies being done by people talking about the effects of the frequencies. Like 528 hertz, for example, helps the DNA repair itself.